in understanding, your own drivers, your own, I call it purpose priorities, right? Your own priorities that give you purpose. And starting to get clear on that, you can actually look at, well, what would you gain personally from prioritizing your health? And, I do get the impression from Matt's question that he would sincerely like to prioritize his health himself. But, he also said some revealing things like, it's okay to be fat. And so I would suggest that the highest priority driver of him expecting himself to be leaner ultimately is for others and how he may look for others, etc. But I think intertwined with that is he does see the value in doing it himself. So I think this is where we get caught up in what I would call injected values, which is the idealisms or the values of others that, might sound good on paper. They might tick a box, but isn't really it isn't really our highest priority at this point of our life, right? I think you and I have spoke previously about, if you asked me many years ago about my social relationships when I was building my consulting business, that would have been a lower priority for me, right? And maybe others could say, oh, well, that shouldn't be the case, etc. But ultimately, we each live by a set of values at any given point of our life, and fulfilling that, for taking action on those, is going to be what gives us purpose. And so I think with Matt, defining why would him prioritizing his health or his weight be important to him, and being very conscious of the answers that come up that are, oh, well, I avoid criticism from others, I avoid the jokes, because again, you see how that's baked in avoidance of pain, not truly something that he perceives would benefit his values. So is it for others or is it for himself? Okay. And like I said, I think there was enough evidence there that he does want it, but I think the predominant driver is running from pain, and that is never going to be a sustainable driver. It's an emotional driver, and then, paradoxically, if it's an emotional driver, we then have the coping mechanisms to escape the emotions. So I think for Matt, it would be understanding what he truly values. If it is his career, what is it about his career? What does he strive to do for his clients? If it is his health and fitness, how would that benefit him? Right? Would that improve his cognitive performance, in his work? Would it improve his relationships? Maybe he has kids or grandkids and he would genuinely love to be more mobile and more physical with them. In him associating what he values and how health supports that, not how it helps him avoid temporary pain, that is going to be the sustaining link that allows him to do it for him and take sustaining actions, not short-term up and down behaviors and the emotional residue that comes with that.
Well, there's so much good stuff in that. I think there's some things that I can do as well, thinking about what are the things that you truly value, having a picture of the future.
Yes.
And a future self that is aligned to personal values, not, well, then other people would think this of me as a result. One thing I would like to add is just personally is around some of the content from Brené Brown around vulnerability and connection, and the fact that we are hardwired for connection from her research, just from what Matt was saying around how he feels about himself and the self-identity that's wrapped up in that, is that I would separate them into two things, that there's the inherent worth of a person. And then she says at the end of her TED Talk, her viral TED Talk was, we shouldn't teach our kids to be perfect or try to perfect them, but teach them that they are imperfect but worthy of love and belonging.
Yes.
And I'd say that to Matt is, we're all imperfect but worthy of love and belonging. So there's this, that part of but actually, is it okay to be fat? I'd say it's, I think that's touching more on the, hearing the two things, going, but isn't okay. I'm hearing a resonance of acceptance. I want people to accept me for me and to value me.
Yes.
And I would say 100% yes, and we should do that for other people. And at the same time, I want to change. And those can coexist at the same time, but they're different things. One being just inherent humanity, accepting others and being accepted, and then also making change at the same time. It's not like, well, you should love me as I am and I should never change. I think it's a common narrative we hear. And then there's like, well, I will accept you more when you change. I think both of those are unhealthy. Love you, accept you. You have inherent dignity, absolutely. And I want what's best for you. But again, not I want what's best for you, that's someone else.
Yeah.
But I just hear those two things for Matt, which is we're hardwired for connection. We need vulnerability to do that. And he's doing that right now with sharing openly and honestly, which is a step in that direction to connect with people. But yeah, that's probably speaking to the the shame loop that I think he mentioned a few times, which Brené talks about as well. There's guilt is I've done something wrong and I can change it. Shame is there's something wrong with me. And that there's something wrong with me leads to secrecy, silence, and judgment. We hide away. And I think he's taking great steps by even leaving a voice note. But I just want to encourage that direction of continuing to go to spaces, connect with people that do accept you for you, and do the behavior that change requires as well.
Absolutely.